Everything was going smoothly. The marriage plans were moving fast. Money was flowing and happiness filled the air. But when evil begins, it does not rush. It starts quietly, with signs that only a few can notice. That morning, Chief woke up suddenly from sleep, breathing heavily. His body was covered in sweat, as if he had been running for his life. He looked around his room in confusion. Everything appeared normal, but something inside him was not at peace. He stood up slowly and held his head. What kind of dream was that? He muttered. For a brief moment, an image flashed in his mind. He saw himself lying inside a coffin. He blinked quickly and the vision disappeared. Nonsense, he said angrily, shaking it off as he prepared for the day. In the market, business was booming like never before. Customers rushed in large numbers, especially to Mary's shop. Her goods were fresh, attractive, and unbelievably cheap. People struggled to buy from her, praising her endlessly. Chief's shop was no different. It was filled with customers, and money was flowing like water. His workers were busy counting bundles of cash, smiling and laughing. Suddenly, one of the workers paused while counting. His expression changed. He looked closely at the money in his hand. For a split second, the crisp naira notes turned into dry leaves. He blinked in fear, and immediately it returned to normal money. The worker looked around quickly. Nobody else seemed to notice. "What is this?" he whispered under his breath, his heart beating fast. Not far from there, Oga Cash finally arrived at a deep forest shrine. The place was silent, surrounded by tall trees, and the air felt heavy and unnatural. He removed his slippers and walked slowly toward the shrine, fear written all over his face. He knelt down gently. "Please, I need to know what happened to my business," he said with a trembling voice. A deep, echoing voice filled the air. "Your business was not destroyed." Oga Cash slowly lifted his head, confused. "It was taken and given to another." His eyes widened in shock as the meaning of the words settled into his mind. At the same time, in her compound, Ayachi sat quietly under the tree, holding her mirror. Her face was filled with deep thoughts. "Mama, I don't understand that girl," she said softly. The mirror remained silent. She frowned, confused by the unusual silence. Suddenly, the mirror flashed. For a brief second, she saw a terrifying image, a graveyard. Ayachi gasped and dropped the mirror immediately. "This is not ordinary," she said, her voice shaking with fear. As night fell, everywhere became calm. Chief sat comfortably in his house, eating with so much joy. Mary sat beside him, watching him quietly with a calm smile. "Your food is the best," Chief said happily as he continued eating. Mary said nothing. She only watched him. But what Chief was seeing was not the truth. To him, the food looked delicious, well prepared and served on a clean plate. But in reality, Chief was sitting in a graveyard. The plate in his hand was broken and dirty. The environment around him was filled with silent graves. A cold wind blew gently across the land. Mary sat there watching him as he ate, her smile slowly deepening. Chief continued eating happily, completely unaware that he was no longer seeing the real world. He laughed, satisfied, enjoying every bite, not knowing that he was slowly crossing into a place where he might never return from. When a man refuses to see the truth, even the clearest signs become invisible to him. The first sign had appeared, but Chief still could not see it. Everything was moving faster than expected. The love between Chief and Mary had grown strong, and the plans for their marriage were already in motion. One evening, as they sat together, Chief looked at Mary with excitement. "When do we fix the traditional marriage?" he asked. Mary smiled softly, her eyes calm and unreadable. "It'll take place in my compound," she said gently. "And I don't want a crowd. Just come with a few family members." Chief didn't hesitate. anything for you, my love. I will do exactly as you want." Emiri's smile deepened. Far away, in the burial ground, what looked like an empty graveyard began to come alive. Dead people moved around like normal humans. They carried canopies, arranged chairs and tables, and decorated the environment like a celebration ground. Some of them looked completely human. Others looked like shadows. Yet, everything was set perfectly. The wedding was being prepared inside the land of the dead. Back in the market, Emiri was selling as usual. Her goods attracted crowds. People rushed to her, praising her quality and cheap prices. But not far from her, Ayachi stood quietly watching her. Her eyes were sharp, observant. She didn't speak. She only stared, as if trying to understand something deeper. Later that day, Ayachi returned to her compound and sat under the tree again with her small mirror. Her face was serious. She held the mirror tightly. "Mama," she called softly. Immediately, the face of the old white witch appeared inside the mirror. Before Ayachi could speak, the old woman spoke first. "I know what you want to say." Ayachi swallowed nervously. "But mother, you will not attend that traditional marriage." Ayachi was shocked. "But why?" she asked. The old woman's face became more serious. "You will know when the time comes." Immediately, she vanished. Ayachi remained there frozen, her heart filled with worry. "This is not good," she whispered. Chief, on his own part, decided to visit the old woman in her shrine. He arrived with excitement and respect. "I came to invite you," he said proudly. "My traditional marriage is coming up." The old woman looked at him quietly, then suddenly burst into laughter. "Chief Uduego, you have entered a dangerous trap that you cannot escape." Chief's smile faded slightly. "But you still have one chance. As long as you have not paid her bride's price, you can still escape." Chief became upset immediately. "Why are you doing this?" he said angrily. "You are my destiny helper. What I am today is because of you. Why do you want to cut my happiness short?" He shook his head. "I only came to invite you as my spiritual mother, but you have spoiled my mood." He turned and walked away in anger. The old woman watched him go and then laughed deeply. Surugede is the dance of the spirit. That night, Chief slept, but his sleep was not peaceful. He found himself standing in darkness. A strange voice echoed around him. "Do not pay her bride's price. Do not pay." He turned in fear but saw no one. Suddenly, he woke up with a loud gasp, sweating heavily. Now that old woman nonsense, he tried to calm himself. The day of the traditional marriage arrived. Chief prepared with excitement, but his uncle refused to follow. "My son," the old man said calmly, "what an old man sees while sitting, even if you climb a tree, you cannot see it." Chief frowned. "I still advise you, do not marry that woman." Chief became angry. "I have heard you," he snapped and left with his friends and a few family members. When they arrived, what they saw was a beautiful mansion, a clean compound, decorated canopies, well-arranged chairs and tables, music, smiles, and happiness. But in reality, they had entered a graveyard. The people sitting under the canopy were not normal. Some looked like humans, others were dark shadows watching silently. Chief and his people sat down happily, enjoying the moment, but one of his aunties shifted uncomfortably. "My body is not settling," she whispered. Nobody paid attention. Soon, Chief, Emiri, Oga Okri, an old man and an old woman sat together under a special canopy. Everything was calm. The old man spoke slowly. "You can now pay her bride's price." Chief smiled widely, full of joy. "With all pleasure, sir." Emiri watched him quietly. The old man and the old woman stared at him with deep meaning. Chief brought out money, coconut and kola nut, and handed them over. The moment the bride's price was accepted, thunder struck loudly. The sky shook. Emiri, the old man, and the old woman burst into loud, uncontrollable laughter. Chief joined them, laughing happily, not knowing why. Far away, In the shrine, the old woman stood up suddenly as heavy thunder filled the sky. The clouds turned dark. She raised her voice and shouted, "It has begun!" And in that moment, what was hidden for years had finally been activated.
So it has finally started.